Hi there. Today I'm going to be talking about an article from Adopting During the Anti-Adoption Movement by Rebecca from Fosterhood. I'm not sure that was really her name, but anyway, um, I'm going to read a little bit about this just because it caught my eye, because uh, they're recognizing the fact that there are people who like to adopt, can adopt. In some cases, I guess there are children that should be adopted. But this recognizes that there are anti-foster care people, which I was glad to see that they are aware of us. So here it is. This is the article. Some of you might be asking, there's an anti-adoption movement? And the answer is yes. It's a big, powerful consortium of organizations comprised of adoptees, birth moms and dads, social workers, and numerous other advocates. Even though I'm in the process of adopting a daughter, and I consider myself a satisfied adopted child, I think that the anti-adoption folks have a good point. The U.S. has a long and complicated history with adoption and foster care, comprised predominantly of children who have been forcibly removed from their parents, compounded exponentially. Recently, the New Republic wrote a widely circulated article, Meet the New Anti-Adoption Movement, the Surprising Frontier in Reproductive Justice. The buzz in the adoption and anti-adoption groups was about how there's actually nothing new about being anti-adoption. Here's a rudimentary short list of the ugly side of of adoption in America. The Indian Adoption Project, formed in 1958, aimed to civilize Native American children by removing them from their tribe and ensuring their adoption by white Northeastern families. Eventually, the Indian Child Welfare Act came into place in 1978, made famous by now the Baby Veronica case. In 1972, the National Association of Black Social Workers, the NABSW are the initials, formed a formal position opposing transracial adoption, citing concerns that such placements compromised the child's racial and cultural identity, amounting to a form of cultural genocide. Then there is the baby scoop era. After World War II and up through the 80s was a time in which white, unwed mothers were often coerced into adoption of their newborns. So can adoption be done right? I think so. At the forefront of ethical policy research and advocacy is the uh, Evan B. Donaldson Adoption Institute. In 2006, they published Safeguarding the Rights and Well-Being of Birth Parents in the Adoption Process, and the report remains the go-to guide if you're thinking about adoption. It's a must-read, and don't be discouraged. Adoption can be a beautiful thing. So that's the end of that article. Um, it's in Babel, courtesy of Disney, wouldn't you know it? Um, what do I think of it? Well, I guess there's always two sides, but I have a feeling like they really underestimated or lessened the suffering that had been done by all of these specific things that took babies away from their mothers and fathers. And um, all in all, I'm still anti-foster care, anti-adoption. The article basically just reinforced all the reasons why we need to keep children with their birth parents. So that's it for now.